Now I wish I had a grappling hook. So, with some of the additional time I have found myself with between trying to hunt for new work and get some projects done, I have gotten to watch some things that have passed me by up to now. And no, it's still not Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'll try and get to it, all right? This one's Gravity Falls. Now, I haven't seen all of it. I've seen the first season. And I don't know how long it'll be before I get through the second one, because this is one that I'm actually watching with my daughter. And I do mean like actively watching with her at the same time. It's not like She-Ra where we would both burn through it individually and then like rewatch it together because we both love it so much. This is us watching together start to finish. And we're both enjoying it quite a bit. I think for me, I don't think it's unfair for me to say that I think the show got a little overhyped for me. It's good. Don't get me wrong, it is quite good. I think I probably would have liked it more if I'd been there on the ground floor and I didn't have as many friends who were like really into it. But it is quite enjoyable. The general impression I get is Mabel seems to be most people's favorite character. And Mabel's great. Don't get me wrong, Mabel's great, especially whenever she has scenes with the pig, with Waddles. And how she gets him is just wonderful. Dipper is... I don't really like Dipper, but the thing is, I'm not sure I'm supposed to. You know, he's a little awkward. He's a bit of a turd. Sometimes he's a bit of a selfish jerk. I mean, Mabel is too, but she's just such a bundle of energy. She's kind of endearing regardless. Dipper, not quite as much. But he works well for what they're doing. He's the kind of character who I personally am never going to point to and go, yeah, that's my guy. Nah, not so much. Stan took a while to grow on me. I don't know. There was something about him. Honestly, can I be really superficial? I think it might have just been how put on the voice was. Like, it doesn't sound like an old man. It sounds like a young man trying to sound like an old man. And some people can do that convincingly, and some people, they just talk like this. And, no, that grates. That grates for me. Well. But honestly, for me, my favorite character, I like Seuss. I like him a lot. Wait, it's so funny. I wasn't sure I was going to because I could tell. Oh, he's the slow character out of the bunch, so that he's gonna get a lot of jokes. But like, he's got the best jokes. They're great, and like he's also behind them. A lot of them are at his expense, but oftentimes he's the one delivering them. He's got his mom's like up top. And he just high-fives himself because they left him hanging. And like the way he puts dude at the end of every sentence. Oh, sorry, dude. I like him. Like the buck teeth took me a little while to get used to. I don't love that design. I think it's the fact that it's buck teeth top and bottom. It kind of gives a rodent thing going on. So like I'm iffy on that design choice. But as a character overall, I really love him. I really do. I find him wonderfully just endearing and lovable, and he means so well, and he just likes everybody. He just, pterodactyl bros. I like him. I like Seuss a lot. Wendy's fine. I feel like I don't have a good sense of Wendy. She's just kind of there. She's Dipper's crush. She's just kind of there. I'll tell you who I don't really care for. Because, like, up to this point, about the harshest thing I'd had to say was, like, he's fine, and that was Dipper. I don't really care for Gideon as a recurring antagonist. I think part of it's that recurring thing that I keep running into, which is that he's written deliberately to be irritating. And it is so rare that a character is written to be irritating to the other characters that I don't also just find irritating to deal with. And have to watch. So he's kind of got that going for him a little bit. I was a little bit frustrated when I realized that he was going to be recurring across the thing. I don't know if he comes back in the second season. I'm going to assume he does. But not a huge fan of Gideon. I do like the various ways these things really go off the rails. And I mean that like in the best way. The first episode is kind of a wonderful statement of purpose. You know, when Mabel starts going on these dates with someone who Dipper is convinced is a zombie, and it turns out it's 6 gnomes in an oversized jacket. Okay? Like, that's the kind of, I'm sorry, what? That I'm absolutely here for. And it's also really cleverly done. With some of the recurring characters and what you learn about them, like the town crazy man, Old Man McGucket, who is, you know, he's nuts. He's the town kook, but he's also clearly a mechanical genius, and that's not a one-off joke. That's a recurring thing that keeps coming up. So I like that. I like the way that it approaches things like time travel when that comes up. Its approach to time travel is really interesting because it does have the characters going back in time and like remembering everything. So like, but they're not looping back and seeing their past selves. It's like they're moving backwards along their own timeline, but retaining all the knowledge of what happened. It's just a neat way to do time travel, and there's clearly been a lot of thought put into these elements. I suppose the last thing that I will talk about, this can be considered a bit of a spoiler if you haven't seen the first season yet. The other stuff I've talked about, I've tried to keep it in vague terms, but this is your warning. So we've got Bill's cipher at the very end, which, first of all, I love that a demonic entity is called Bill. That's great. I love that. He's another case where I don't love the voice. I think he's voiced by Alex Hirsch, same as Stan, who's also the creator of the show. I think the honest truth is I don't love Alex Hirsch's voice work. I think he's just the kind of one of my takeaways here. But I like his writing a lot. I love the concept of Bill. I love the look. I love that there's no mouth and all the expression is in the one eye, and like flashes of images in the pyramid shape, and sort of realizing that there were visual cues to Bill. Like I didn't realize until after he showed up that the window in Mabel and Dipper's room is a triangle. It's really. I think what I admire most about this thing is the writing, and I do like the characters and I like the visual execution, but most of my nitpicks come down to things like voice work throwing me off a little bit. And voice work might also be part of my issue with Gideon, if I'm being completely honest. The voice exacerbates the irritation that I have with him. But I know I've kind of spent a big chunk of this kind of nitpicking, but realize that nitpicking for me comes from one of two places. Either it's this thing's a disaster and there's so many individual things wrong with it and I have to catalog them because I can't believe how much is wrong with this. Or nitpicking is I really like this thing, but if it weren't for these handful of things, I would love it. And I want to love it, but I just really like it. And it's because of these sometimes nitpicky things. And that's the category that Gravity Falls is in for me, at least as of the end of season 1. We'll see what I think when I get to season 2. Don't know how long that's going to take. Probably going to be a few weeks, a month or two. We'll see. We'll see what pace we get through it at. But that's Gravity Falls, season 1. You've seen it? What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Usual stuff. You know what it is. Like and subscribe and help me out on Patreon. I am currently unemployed, so that's a massive help. But even just sharing this around and engaging with it, that helps as well. But also, no pressure on any of that. We take a relaxed attitude around here. So just, come on back next time you need a break, dude.